Hello and welcome to IAMC Radio and Podcast.
Ready for a quick but insightful exploration of today's top news headlines? It's January 18th, 2025, and we've got some fascinating stories developing across the globe.
Let's start with Nigeria, where the selection of the new Elephant of Oyo is making headlines.
This is a landmark event. For the first time in recent history, the ancient Yoruba system of Ifa divination played a key role in choosing such a prominent leader.
Ifa. Tell me more about that. It sounds almost mystical.
Ifa is a complex system of divination and wisdom deeply embedded in Yoruba culture. It involves consulting the oracle through a trained priest who interprets the results to provide guidance.
So how did this play out in the selection of the elephant?
Professor Wande Abimbola, a renowned scholar of Ifa and former senator, reveals that he was called upon to conduct the divination. He emphasizes that the kingmakers were present throughout the process, though they were deeply divided due to allegations of bribery and infighting.
Wow, that's quite a mix of tradition and contemporary challenges. What does this tell us about the role of traditional practices in modern Nigeria?
It's a fascinating case study. While some might see it as a step back in time, others view it as a reassertion of cultural identity amidst modern pressures. The fact that the chosen candidate was also vetted for a clean record shows a blending of the old and the new.
Now, shifting gears to a story that raises concerns about integrity within the Nigerian police force. A number of high-ranking officers are under investigation for allegedly backdating their service records.
This is a serious issue that goes to the heart of accountability and transparency. The allegations suggest a potential manipulation of retirement dates, potentially allowing officers to remain in service beyond their legal tenure.
And how are these discrepancies discovered?
It seems that a civic group, the Integrity Youth Alliance, brought the issue to light. They've been scrutinizing records and calling for the Inspector General to uphold the public service rules, which clearly define retirement age and procedures.
So what are the implications of this investigation?
This case could have far-reaching consequences. If the allegations are proven, it could lead to disciplinary actions, potentially even dismissals and criminal charges. It also shines a light on the need for greater oversight and mechanisms to prevent such practices in the future.
Let's move on to a development that could have significant implications for Nigeria's global standing. The country has officially joined BRICS as a partner country.
This is a big deal. BRICS is a powerful intergovernmental organization comprising Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. It aims to foster economic and political cooperation among its members, many of whom are leading emerging economies.
So what does this partnership mean for Nigeria?
It opens up a whole range of potential benefits. Think increased trade investment opportunities and a stronger voice on the global stage. Nigeria, with its large population and economic potential, aligns well with BRICS' goals of promoting South-South cooperation and reforming global governance.
This partnership definitely signals Nigeria's growing influence and strategic importance in the international arena. What other countries are in this partner category?
Nigeria joins a group that includes Belarus, Bolivia, Cuba, Kazakhstan, Malaysia, Thailand, Uganda, and Uzbekistan. Notably, Indonesia recently graduated from partner status to full membership. It'll be interesting to see if Nigeria follows a similar trajectory in the future.
Now for a story from the United States, where incoming President Donald Trump has made a rather unusual decision for his inauguration ceremony.
It seems the famously unpredictable Trump is bowing to Mother Nature. Due to an Arctic blast gripping the nation, he's moving the traditional outdoor ceremony inside the Capitol building.
Really? That's a pretty significant change. Has this ever happened before?
This is actually the first time in 40 years. The last time weather forced an indoor inauguration was back in 1985 for President Ronald Reagan's second term. Apparently, the wind chill in Washington, D.C. on Monday is predicted to be brutally cold.
Brr. I can't blame him for wanting to stay warm. But what about the thousands of people who usually gather to witness the event?
Trump has arranged for a live viewing of the ceremony at the Capital One Arena, a large sports venue downtown. He's also shifting the traditional parade to the arena, though it's unclear how that will work logistically. Imagine marching bands weaving around basketball courts.
Staying in the U.S., a report from the Wall Street Journal suggests that the Trump administration is gearing up for a major immigration crackdown with a large-scale raid planned in Chicago.
This is a controversial move, to say the least. Immigration was a central issue in Trump's campaign, and it seems he's wasting no time in implementing his hardline policies.
What details do we have about the planned raid?
Reports indicate that ICE The U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency will deploy a significant number of officers to Chicago, with operations potentially lasting throughout the week. The focus seems to be on undocumented immigrants, particularly those with criminal records.
This is likely to spark a lot of debate and potentially legal challenges. How are officials in Chicago responding?
The city has declared itself a sanctuary city, meaning it limits cooperation with federal immigration enforcement efforts. Trump's designated border czar, Tom Homan, has issued a stark warning, saying he'll prosecute any officials who obstruct the operation or shelter undocumented immigrants. This is a situation that could lead to a real showdown between city and federal authorities. It'll be interesting to see how it all plays out and what it means for other sanctuary cities.
Let's turn our attention now to a really inspiring story about achievement and breaking barriers. Commander Matuwo Olufokunbi has made history as the first Nigerian American to qualify as a nuclear engineer in the prestigious U.S. Navy nuclear propulsion program.
This program is known for being incredibly difficult, with rigorous training and high standards. For Commander Olufokunbi to not only complete it, but also to become the third Nigerian-born officer to command a U.S. Navy warship, the USS Oak Hill, is amazing. It really speaks to his dedication, his expertise, and leadership qualities.
It really is a testament to his perseverance and the power of representation. Stories like this can be incredibly inspiring, especially for young people of Nigerian descent and those who want to be naval officers. It shows that with hard work and determination, anything is possible, even in fields that have been traditionally dominated by certain groups.
Absolutely. His journey is like a beacon of hope and a reminder that diversity and inclusion are so important, not just for individual success, but for the strength and innovation of institutions like the U.S. Navy. It challenges us to think about how we can create more inclusive environments where everyone has the opportunity to thrive and contribute their talents.
Now, our next story takes us back to South Africa, where unfortunately we have a tragic incident to discuss. The Nigerian community is in an uproar following the death of 50-year-old Jeremiah Okoye while in police custody.
This is a deeply concerning case. It raises serious questions about police brutality and the treatment of foreign nationals in South Africa. Okoye, who had been living in South Africa for over 2 decades, reportedly died under mysterious circumstances while being detained in Limpopo province. Given the history of violence against Nigerians in South Africa, this incident has understandably sparked outrage and calls for justice.
The Nigerian Citizens Association in South Africa, or NICASA, is demanding a thorough and transparent investigation into Okoye's death. They're calling for accountability and an end to police brutality, emphasizing that our lives matter and that Nigerian nationality should not be a target.
Their demands are entirely justified. This case shows the urgent need for systemic change to address police brutality and xenophobia in South Africa. A thorough and independent investigation is crucial not only to bring justice to Okoye's family, but also to send a clear message that such acts will not be tolerated.
Let's shift our focus now to a legal case that, while positive in its outcome, reminds us of the importance of vigilance and the long-reaching impact of crime. A Nigerian man, Timilehin Olatunji, has been sentenced to 10 years in prison for a brutal rape that occurred in Nottingham, England, back in 2024.
This sentencing is a significant victory for justice, especially considering the time that has passed since the crime was committed. It demonstrates that the legal system, while not perfect, can still deliver justice for victims even years later. It also serves as a deterrent to potential offenders, reminding them that they will be held accountable for their actions no matter how much time has elapsed.
The key factor in securing Olatunji's conviction was the victim's quick thinking in using a mobile app to record audio evidence of the assault. This evidence proved crucial in obtaining a guilty plea from the perpetrator and ensuring a just outcome.
This highlights how technology can be a powerful tool for both victors and law enforcement in the fight against crime. It empowers individuals to document and report incidents while also providing valuable evidence that can be used in legal proceedings. It's a reminder that while technology can be misused, it can also be harnessed for good, particularly in cases where traditional methods of evidence gathering might fall short.
Speaking of technology, the news of President Trump's inauguration being moved indoors due to extreme weather brings up another interesting technological aspect. How do you think this will affect the experience for those who can't attend in person, considering they'll be relying on technology to participate virtually?
That's a great observation. Moving the inauguration indoors definitely presents a unique set of challenges and opportunities in terms of how the event is experienced by those watching remotely. It will be interesting to see how the organizers leverage technology to create an engaging and immersive experience for virtual attendees, especially considering the limitations of the indoor setting.
It definitely adds another layer to the already highly anticipated event. Now, before we move on to our final story, I'd like to circle back to something you mentioned earlier. You talked about the need for greater oversight and mechanisms to prevent incidents like the alleged backdating of service records within the Nigerian police force. What specific measures do you think could be implemented to address this issue effectively?
That's a crucial question. We need to look at both preventative measures and robust systems for detection and accountability. First, we need to ensure transparency in the record-keeping process itself. This could involve digitizing records, implementing secure databases, and introducing regular audits. Additionally, strengthening internal controls within the police force is paramount. This could involve establishing independent oversight committees, implementing whistleblowing mechanisms, and fostering a culture of accountability where individuals are encouraged to report any suspicious activities without fear of reprisal.
Those are all excellent points. It's a multifaceted issue that requires a comprehensive approach to ensure that such incidents are prevented, and those responsible are held accountable. Now for our final story today, let's turn our attention back to the international scene and the complexities of global partnerships. You mentioned earlier that Indonesia recently graduated from partner status to full membership within BRICS. What does this transition signify, and what factors might have contributed to Indonesia's elevation within the organization?
Indonesia's move to full membership is a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
It shows they've met the requirements for closer ties with BRICS, and it points to their growing economic and political clout on the world stage.
So what exactly does a country have to do to go from being a partner to a full member?
Well, the exact criteria aren't public, but it probably comes down to a mix of things like economic performance, political stability, commitment to BRICS goals, and, being in line with the organization's values.
Right.
Indonesia's got a strong economy. They're active in regional and international affairs, and they're committed to South-South cooperation. All those things likely played a role in their promotion. It kind of sets an example for other partner countries, like Nigeria, who might want full membership down the road.
Definitely something to keep an eye on. The dynamics within BRICS are always changing, and it'll be interesting to see how the organization adapts to the shifting global landscape.
For sure. Well, that wraps up our look at today's top news headlines.
We've covered a lot of ground, from ancient traditions influencing how leaders are chosen to cutting-edge technology shaping how we deal with crime and justice, and of course the ever-changing alliances on the global stage. It's been quite a journey.
It really has. From leadership selections guided by age-old traditions to how technology is changing crime and justice. And then there's the shifting alliances on the world stage. These stories offer a glimpse into the forces that are shaping our present and our future.
As we wrap up, we encourage you to think about these stories and what they mean for you. What stood out to you the most? What questions do you have about where we're headed?
And remember, staying informed is just the beginning. Talk about these things with others, challenge your own assumptions, and look for different points of view. The world is complex, and it's through thoughtful exploration and critical thinking that we can navigate it and make things better.
Thank you for listening to the Today's Top News Headlines on IAMC Radio and Podcast.